Does anyone remember The Bad Guys? Considering this movie's only around 3 years old, it's probably not uncommon for you to think you probably remember it. A classic heist movie made by DreamWorks Animation that feels like Ocean's 11 had a baby with Into the Spider-Verse. Not only is this movie probably a lot funnier and wackier than you remember, but it's also oddly serious and emotional, which makes for an absolutely insane journey. Like, this movie's actually crazy. Why has no one talked about this? In a world filled with unnecessary sequels and regurgitated animation slop, the ask for original movies is at an all-time high, and although this might not necessarily be the most creative film ever made, I think it does just enough things right to warrant a revisit and to see what it's all about. Also, I like to prepare myself when I'm about to watch a notably bad or notably good movie, but the review scores for this movie range widely for some reason, which honestly just adds to its insanity. Like, not even the people who watch this movie know how to feel. We're all just going mad. Someone please send help. So today, we'll be watching the entire movie, The Bad Guys, in full to see if it's good or bad, and to find out just how insane this thing actually is. The sequel to this movie actually comes out on the day this should be uploaded, so whether you want a quick refresher before watching the second film, or just want to re-experience the madness, I got your back. Let's do this. So grab your copy of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare for the Xbox 360, and let's finally watch DreamWorks' very own The Bad Guys. Our story begins with two of this movie's main characters passive-aggressively talking to each other in a diner. These guys are pretty good friends, and once they walk out of the diner, everyone freaks out around them. I'm guessing it's because these guys are English-speaking animals, which, depending on your interest, is either actual nightmare fuel or the hypest thing you'd ever see in your life.
Hey man, how you been? I haven't seen you like snake attack.
I'm happy to report that just like in real life, much like this universe, snakes are complete assholes. They make their way towards a bank across the street where they quickly rob the place. There's no like resistance at all. The security here must really hate their jobs. This is when we get an epic car chase scene where every main character is revealed. We got Mr. Snake, who's the safe cracking expert. Also, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Snake. Miss Tarantula, the hacker of the group, who's really cool, but voiced by Awkwafina, so no one likes her. Mr. Shark, who's the master of disguise and loves playing stealth games. Mr. Piranha, who's the loose cannon and probably going through medication withdrawals as we speak. And Mr. Wolf, who's basically just the leader of everyone. Together, this group makes up The Bad Guys. That's the title of this movie. Very clever. The Bad Guys play some extremely copyrighted jazz music. How unfortunate. They get a level 5 wanted level and try to outdrive the cops, which is when Mr. Wolf drives off the road and causes a huge crash. I'm not a doctor, but I'd guess probably like 6 or 7 fatalities here, at least. All jokes aside, this leads to the bad guys getting away and retreating to their hidden hideout that's apparently underground. Once there, we see the huge fortune that the gang has stolen over the years. It's clear here that these guys aren't some low-level criminals. Like, these guys are actual experts at this stuff. They know what they're doing, okay, and they probably found an infinite money glitch. It is what it is.
Happy birthday.
Seriously?
Come on.
They're all evil criminals, but they still love each other like family. Shout out to that. Gotta be one of my favorite genders, for real.
Everyone say robbery. Robbery.
After that, there's this scene where Mr. Snake has the last push pop from the freezer. Apparently, he loves these things and never shares them. That's probably very important. Try to remember it. This is when Mr. Wolf turns on the TV to watch the news. We see the governor of this state, whose name is Diane Foxington, and she's also an animal? And actually, there's a bunch of animals walking and talking in this movie all the time. So I guess people weren't scared of our bad guys earlier because the alpha male poses. They were just scared because they're known criminals. Not sure why no one called the police once they were at the diner then, if they recognized them. They had a lot of time to do it, but whatever. I digress. It doesn't matter. Diane plays some mind games with the bad guys, calling them second-rate has-beens. This makes our group of bad guys pretty angry. So Mr. Wolf comes up with the brilliant idea of stealing the golden dolphin. What's that? You don't know what the golden dolphin is, you say? Well, to be honest, it's probably just some random celebrity award that's probably made out of like 99% brass or something. But for all intents and purposes, it's one of the coolest things a bad guy can steal in this universe. Every criminal who's previously tried to steal it has failed miserably and probably ended up in a maximum security prison. Everyone's immediately on board, so the plan springs into action. We begin with step 1, blending in. I can tell they used Mr. Shark's mastery of disguise here. I can barely recognize anyone. This is when we meet the guy who's receiving the Golden Dolphin Award this year. This character's name is Professor Marmalade. He's a guinea pig, which I forgot to mention, but Mr. Snake said earlier that he loves eating guinea pigs because they taste good. But this guy's also an English-speaking humanoid creature thing, so if he eats him, is it not just Murder? Are these guys just committing premeditated homicide all the time? Do they eat other animals, usually? And like, even just in this main group, are there not some animals here that could possibly eat the others? We're 15 minutes into this movie, and I'm theorizing the killing habits of our main characters. This movie's insane. It's totally fun. Professor Marmalade is a good guy through and through. He's receiving this award because he does a lot of charity stuff and stops wars or something, which is when we continue with step 2. Get close to Diane Foxington. You see, only the governor has access to the room containing the award, so Mr. Wolf has to work his magic and somehow gain access.
Mr.
Poodleton. Oliver Poodleton.
Damn. Expert thief and a ladies' man. This dude will steal your wallet and your heart. Gotta respect it. Wolf and Diane talk for a bit. Diane says that the bad guys are sloppy and have horrible disguises. How ironic that she's getting completely bamboozled during this conversation. In the end, Mr. Wolf asks to take a picture with her, and this is really important for later, because of course it is. This is when we actually enter the building and meet yet another character of interest. This character is the chief of police. She's kind of obsessed with the bad guys, and her whole thing is that she wants to catch them very badly. But this is when the gang continues with step 3. Assume the positions. Everyone here has an important role to play, and it's important that the plan is followed correctly. While Miss Tarantula is busy hacking on her Alienware 4K Razer gaming laptop, Mr. Wolf bumps into the chief to pickpocket her keycard. He also ends up stealing a bunch of other stuff from people. He's very sneaky, not gonna lie. This is when Mr. Wolf is about to steal this old lady's purse, but as she trips down the stairs, he unintentionally saves her, actually. The old lady is super grateful and gives him a big hug. She even calls him a good boy. And I'm not kidding, his tail starts wagging uncontrollably. Like, you can see this dude's moral belief system change in real time. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? And it's a good feeling moment, okay, but it's time to lock in. Mr. Shark is tasked with causing a distraction, so naturally, he pretends to give birth. Mr. Piranha pulls a Puss in Boots and takes out the guards. Mr. Wolf uses the picture of Diane to gain access to the Golden Dolphin room. I'm pretty sure that's not how eye scanners work, but what do I know? And now all that's left to do is traverse the super secret laser room filled with motion detectors. This is a heist movie, after all. Once inside, Mr. Shark doesn't need to stall anymore, so he just disconnects from the lobby and leaves.
We're in.
Oops, I forgot, I'm not pregnant.
Diane is saying an emotional speech now. We find out a meteorite hit the city a while ago, and Professor Marmalade was the one who fixed the crater it left behind, alongside this heart-shaped piece of the meteor that now represents love in the community or something. It's very sweet. Anyway, the gang comes together to actually steal the award. Of course, there are some things that go wrong during this scene, but these are just the usual heist movie shenanigans. So in the end, the bad guys are actually successful and have stolen the most unsnatchable award in the entire world. People in complete shock, the only thing left for our bad guys to do is step 4, walk out of the building. How difficult can that be? Right? While making their way out, Professor Marmalade mentions that he doesn't care about a physical award. He's good to others because it feels good for him. Mr. Wolf overhears this and his tail starts wagging again like earlier. He should honestly get that checked by a doctor or something. That seems pretty serious. This makes people in the crowd notice him, which blows his cover, and before you know it, they're surrounded by cops and have nowhere to run. This movie's actually insane, man. No way the shark was RPing as a pregnant librarian this whole time. The bad guys get arrested and the chief rubs it in a little bit, but then Mr. Wolf pulls out a big brain 300 IQ play when he quickly talks to Diane and lets her know that the bad guys are just a product of their environment and we're never given a proper chance to be good. Listen, we're not actually bad guys. We're like this because we were made to be like this. I mean, I also steal stuff, but that's unrelated. This is when Professor Marmalade gets manipulated and agrees. This guy is so kind that he wants to give the bad guys a second chance. His plan is to train them to be good guys to see if that fixes their bad criminal habits. This isn't proof that the uber rich can do literally whatever they want, including overpower the legal system. I don't know what is, I'll be honest. Somehow Diane agrees, which makes the chief really mad. Sucks to suck. It'd be like that sometimes. Mr. Wolf explains to the group that the new plan is to spend a couple days with Professor Marmalade, pretend to be good guys, but then once everyone believes them, break bad like Walter White, and steal the award yet again. So it's the next day now, and the bad guys arrive at Marmalade's house. Side note, the guy who's helping the professor get ready looks absolutely cracked out of his mind. Not sure why, he just creeps me out for some reason. Marmalade has a replica heart-shaped meteorite in his lounge, although this one is just a lamp. It's not actually a piece of the meteorite or whatever. Mr. Piranha calls it a butt instead of a heart. It's hilarious, just trust me.
A giant butt!
It's not a but.
Professor Marmalade gets straight into it and tries to help our bad guys become good guys. He gives Mr. Snake a push pop, which he encourages the snake to share with his friends. But this dude is so evil that he just can't seem to do it. He starts shaking uncontrollably and refuses to share. They then try to help a granny cross the road, but they obviously fail at that as well. The point is, these bad guys are really only good at stealing and sneaking around, which is when Professor Marmalade has a brilliant idea. He brings the bad guys to a testing lab where 200,000 guinea pigs are being tested on. The idea here is that he tasks the group with breaking in and freeing all the guinea pigs. Listen, I'm not a fan of animal testing by any means, okay? But I'm pretty sure breaking into a corporate building is definitely not good guy behavior. Of course, the snake tries to eat them all and they eventually get caught, which gets them in trouble. This is honestly completely Professor Marmalade's fault, by the way. Like, why would you even make them do this?
Assault with a deadly reptile?
Do animals get charged the same as humans in this world? Because, like, don't they live a lot shorter lives on average? Like, a 10-year sentence might be a half of their life. How is that fair? You know? Things are looking pretty bleak. Mr. Wolf talks to Diane and has a moment of vulnerability, as he says that even if he did turn good, he'll always be known to the public as the big bad wolf, which makes him kind of sad. He's also annoyed that some rich girl like Diane is in charge of everything because she doesn't understand what it's like to fight for survival. To clap back, Diane actually says this awesome line.
A wolf and a fox are not so different.
Anyway, later that night, when Mr. Wolf is all in his feels, he tries to do something good and saves a kitten from a tree without realizing the bad guys see him do it, and Professor Marmalade live streamed the whole thing. And apparently that's all it takes to turn a wanted criminal into a hero, because now everyone in the stream likes him, and like, I don't know, he's like a public figure or something. Like, yay, we like this guy now, he's good. Thank you for the $5 tip, Muffin Man 27. Chat, what am I reacting to today? While in bed, Mr. Snake shares his concern with Mr. Wolf about the plan to steal the golden dolphin. He just wants to make sure that the plan is still the plan. Mr. Wolf is clearly having second thoughts though, because turns out being a good person can sometimes be a pretty fulfilling thing. I'd imagine not consistently being on the run is a massive plus as well. Don't have to worry about getting caught or anything, that's always nice. The next night, and our bad guys are now at the new ceremony where the award will be. Marmalade gives them their last small pep talk before letting them walk around to prove they've changed. Mr. Snake immediately tries to steal a secret code from the chief of police, but gets his tail slammed and almost dies. Mr. Piranha starts singing some jazzy blues music to distract everyone. Honestly, the song that plays goes incredibly hard, and I'll link it in the description because you need to listen to it if you like this genre of music, okay? It's good. Mr. Wolf runs into Diane and gets all goo goo gaga because she's dressed all nice and he has no idea how to act around her. The next 2 minutes of this movie are entirely reserved for that song to play really loudly and for Mr. Wolf and Diane to dance their heart outs. Diane does some pretty wild dance moves here, and there's a clear sexual tension in the air. It is what it is. Someone please add an M for mature rating on this thing, because things are getting steamy. DreamWorks loves animating two characters passionately dancing all the time. I swear, it's the most effective way to make people fall in love. After the dance, Wolf admits that it feels really good to be a good person, which is kind of a shame considering the plan is for him to be a bad person in like 5 minutes. Wolf says his speech, and when his cue finally pops and he's meant to press the button to shut the lights off, he instead doesn't do that and just awards the golden dolphin to Professor Marmalade. The rest of the bad guys are in disbelief as they realize the big bad wolf has actually turned good. But then the lights suddenly go out anyway, and once they turn back on, the meteorite is completely gone. What? This is so insane. This is absolute cinema. I have chills. Of course, everyone around immediately suspects the bad guys. The chief walks up and is about to cuff them.
Can't possibly think that we did this.
So long, suckers!
Out of panic, the bad guys try to run away, but ultimately they get caught. And listen, this part is a little bit confusing because it's super clear by Mr. Wolf's tone that he didn't actually do anything this time. Even Diane doesn't really seem to believe it. We also get this hilarious scene with a news reporter.
You should always judge a book by its cover, and all stereotypes have been affirmed.
Professor Marmalade gets 5 minutes of private time with the bad guys to try and find out what's actually going on. But then, in a twist I'm sure no one ever saw coming, it turns out Professor Marmalade was actually the one who stole the meteorite. He's been a bad guy this entire time, and no one ever caught on. Remember the granny that Wolf saved at the start of the movie? That was actually Marmalade in disguise, secretly manipulating Mr. Wolf into wanting to become a good guy. He's been one step ahead of everyone this entire time, and honestly, I hate him so very much right now. I wish Mr. Snake would just eat him, to be honest. In the end, Marmalade frames Wolf in a bad light and gets away without so much as a scratch. It's important to mention that Mr. Wolf has actually changed by this point. Like, he does actually feel good. So this scene is oddly sad and emotional for some reason. We find out that during the chase scene earlier, he even marked his secret hideout on a map and gave it to Diane, since he wants to give all of the stuff he stole back to the people he stole it from. Diane quickly checks it out and realizes that Wolf has been saying the truth all along. Too bad though, because the bad guys are now being sent to a maximum security prison in the middle of the ocean somewhere. Everyone is kind of mad at Mr. Wolf for betraying the team and turning good. Specifically the Snake, he's especially angry about that one.
Maybe because you just sabotaged the biggest heist.
Listen, I'm not rooting for criminals, okay, but the Snake's got a point. Like, the Wolf should have at least talked to them about how he was feeling. Bro's gonna need therapy for this one. These two start going at it, but before anyone can get hurt, a prison guard falls to the ground. This is when some ninja-looking person shows up and kicks everyone in the face in what I think is probably the coolest scene in the entire movie, visually. Like, seriously, you should watch this thing if you haven't. This scene is really cool. And once every guard is taken out, we find out that, plot twist, the ninja person is actually Diane Foxington, and despite her being the governor, she's also a very famous criminal named the Crimson Paw. Jinky Scoob, this is absolutely insane. Thanks to Diane's help, everyone escapes, and they also blow up the whole prison, but that's not super important. Back with Professor Marmalade, and I guess he has this mind control helmet thing. It lets him control this swarm of guinea pigs that'll probably do some evil stuff later on or something. Mr. Wolf is now with Diane because he's the only one that still wants to be good, despite us literally learning that Diane is also a criminal, so I'm not really sure how that makes sense. Although Diane does say that she left that world of crime behind her and she's like actually a governor now, so I don't know, I guess we'll just have to believe her. The rest of the bad guys are back home, but all their stolen treasure is now gone, except there happens to be exactly one push pop left in the freezer. And in a life-altering moment, Mr. Snake gives the push pop to Mr. Shark to cheer him up, which, if you don't remember, is kind of like a really big deal and a good guy thing to do. When he does this, everyone starts feeling good all of a sudden and starts wagging their tails, even if they don't really have tails to wag.
Is this wagging?
Back with Marmalade, and he's making all the guinea pigs steal a bunch of charity money. Mr. Wolf and Diane are sneaking into the building to steal the meteorite back, but Marmalade catches them and hangs them upside down. And if you're thinking to yourself, you know, this movie's good, but it needs probably another insane twist, turns out that Mr. Snake has actually teamed up with Marmalade and is now the true bad guy of this story. Wow, what? That's crazy. Our good guys are about to die, but our new good guys, previously bad guys, come in to save them. Our now good guys take the meteorite that's so valuable and drive away with it. Mr. Snake and Marmalade use the mind-controlled guinea pigs to catch them. This is another epic chase scene that matches the opening one, where each character has to use their special skills to get away. They somehow do, and eventually things are lined up perfectly for the good guys to return the meteorite and officially clear their names. However, Mr. Wolf feels bad and wants to go get Mr. Snake to change his mind about being bad, because Mr. Snake is an evil guy, but maybe he's got a bit of good left in him.
But he's our Mr. Grumpy Pants.
Get yourself some friends like these guys. Even if you completely betray everyone, you're still a part of the squad. How poetic. The now good guys approach Mr. Snake, who's just a bargaining chip for Marmalade, turns out. A trade happens to give the meteorite for Mr. Snake. Somehow, everyone ends up falling to their deaths, which is when the Wolf and Snake make up and become friends yet again in the air. Mr. Wolf saves everyone thanks to a grappling hook, although they do get caught by the chief once they return to safety. Things are looking pretty bad here. Marmalade has the meteorite, but then yet another insane plot twist when we find out that, bear with me, the meteorite we see is actually a fake. It's the lamp that we saw that one time in Marmalade's house. Turns out, Mr. Snake was actually a triple agent, as he was a bad guy pretending to be a good guy who was pretending to be a bad guy. Marmalade thought he could trust him, but Mr. Snake used the mind control helmet to swap the meteorite with the fake one, making him a good guy and blowing up the actual meteorite in the process. Because of this, Marmalade crashes out and gets exposed as the true villain of the story. He gets arrested and subsequently put on death row. That part's not actually in the movie. I'm just guessing. And as if we couldn't just end the movie in a nice, normal way, we get one final twist at the very end of the movie.
Who do you think put that one push pop in the fridge?
And that was the entire movie. The Bad Guys. Was it actually a good movie? I'd say so, yeah. is pretty good. The main criticism I've seen about this movie is that it's a bit generic. It's another heist movie which has been done many times before, but honestly, with the constant mix-ups of plot twists and the beautiful animation, I'd say the story sticks out enough to be called a great movie. I'm sure there might be some plot holes in this movie if you look hard enough, but at the end of the day, I'm just some random guy who watched this thing because I wanted to enjoy a movie. So I don't know, it's not that serious, honestly. There's even a post-credit scene where we see our former bad guys get out of prison after serving their time. Diane picks them up and drives into the distance, perfectly setting up a sequel that hopefully isn't as generic as most other sequels nowadays. But all in all, this movie was pretty fun, and if you told me it was one of your favorites of the last 5 years, I honestly wouldn't blame you. Sure, it's an exciting adventure of crime and espionage, but it's also a telling tale of what it means to care, love, and be yourself. And for that reason, I'd say The Bad Guys is pretty good, guys. If you like this video and want to see more, check out my channel. I've got a bunch more just like this. Leave a like and comment if you want to help me out, and become a member if you want to support me directly. It starts at only $1 and gets your name at the end of all my videos right here. It also gets you exclusive access to my full reactions to the movies I cover. I don't have those reactions up yet, but they will be starting very, very soon. Thank you so much to all my current members. Everyone here is awesome, and your support truly means the world to me. I'm so serious. Paula Abdul scores this movie a solid evil guinea pig out of 5. And yeah, thanks for watching.
You should always judge a book by its cover and